All right, guys, welcome back to another fun episode here. My favorite people. Going to keep this pretty short and sweet, get to the point. We're talking about the stock market and where things are currently at this time of the year. It's been a busy year for me with work and family and kids, so apologies for my lack of content. Hoping to get things moving. So, fear and greed is still around the fear mark. We did dip into extreme fear for like a hot minute, but now we're back into fear. And yeah, typically this is whenever you want to buy. It's always been a historical time to buy into the market, hold your strong conviction stocks for a long time, and ride that wave back up into greed and a good time to sell. Now, there's also rumors that this thing is not working correctly. The fear and greed index metric is broken because of the US government shutdown. We're not getting accurate data, and there could be other things at play here. So it does feel a little bit broken to me because the market is hovering near all-time highs. So it is strange to see us down in the fear territory with so many hype stocks exploding, so much upside in small companies and bigger companies hanging on to all-time highs. A little bit weird, of course. So just be wary of this. You want to make sure you're positioning your portfolio correctly and taking the right risk return moves. So that's one thing to be very mindful of. Another super important metric is in 5 days, we're going to have the next rate Fed FOMC rate meeting and a potential rate cut. We're locked in at almost 100% guaranteed rate cut coming to get us back down to 375 bips. This is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be good for the stock market, good for young folks looking to buy a home, refinance, get a mortgage, and we're pretty excited about this one, of course. And then beyond that, I think we have one or two more rate cuts. In fact, we do have a post here by one of my favorite content creators. So I can pull it up real quick. All bookmarks. Yeah, Fred Krueger says rate cut in 6 days, then again in 48 days, something to be aware of. Then again, 97 days, which is huge. And then we have a new Fed chair in May who will make Bernanke look like Paul Volcker. So I personally am bullish on where we're going. I think there's going to be a good, strong couple of years ahead, if not more. Yeah, there'll be downside. Yes, there'll be bad days and opportunities to panic and everything, but stay locked in on good companies and know what you own and why you own it. And then economic calendar. I think we're supposed to have some data coming today. We'll see what it looks like with the government shutdown, of course. Not sure if we will get this or not. Well, we'll find out. But yeah, keep an eye on this stuff as well. You want to make sure you keep an eye on how the data is moving. Other news, which is important, is the data center businesses, Oracle, Bitfarm, all of them, IRM. It's not slowing down. There is more and more money pouring into this sector. Record 38 billion debt seal nears for Oracle tied data centers. This is huge, of course. It's like people know where the market's going, where momentum's going, where investments are going. That's where returns are hopefully going to follow. I have a small position in companies in this sector. Still doing a lot of research on it. It feels pretty early and pretty heavy. So keep an eye on this sector. You want to make sure you're exposed to potential good upside returns. I thought this was very interesting too. A great video on where we are in the Bitcoin US dollar cycle. It's worth showing. Basically, you can see that Bitcoin is at an all-time high. It's fallen off. Bitcoin likewise is in a pattern of accumulation before it hits a reversal pattern to all-time highs. So I'm recent to Bitcoin. I do hold Bitcoin. I'm exposed to some Bitcoin stocks and personally love it. I think it's a huge asset for the future. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only two um, cryptos I want to be exposed to that I see value in for the long term. Apart from that, we'll finish here real quick with just a few highlights, a few things we're keeping an eye on. I'll go back to the monthly calendar. Open stock. Most of the things I'll show you are companies and stocks I have a position in that I'll most likely try and grow that position in. Open is a long-term play, I believe, in what they're doing with the housing market in America. I think it's time that we saw a complete overhaul in how we buy and sell homes in the USA. It's too complicated currently, too many steps involved, too many agents and people, and just a complete kangaroo circus. So I like the mission of, hey, let's use AI, let's use technology to simplify this. You want to sell your home? Here, do it through here. You want to buy a home? Do it through here. Simple transaction, align all the stars and execute it flawlessly would be a huge, huge win. It's a great challenge, of course, but with great challenges do come great rewards. So I like it holding about 100 shares or more for the long term. Definitely keep an eye on that. We talked about data centers. Let's pull up Iran and others real quick, and you can see we're sitting nicely with Iran in the high 50s. It did dip down in the 48s, which was a good buy zone here. I did take a nibble here. I was curious to know if that nibble would hold, because you go to the 1 year chart, and then technicals and fundamentals are always fun to kind of like merge together, is what I'm learning. But you can see in the technicals, it was showing a drop back down towards support, and it found support here in that $50 range right there before it bounced and wicked higher. So in my mind, it's we're looking at now, can it hold this high of like 59.60s? Will it push back up to retest this mark, or will it chop sideways for a bit before eventually coming down to mean reversion theory? Okay, will it come back down towards these price points? This is why I love the stock market. I love technicals. I love looking at charts and seeing where has a company been, where's it going, and what fundamentals are at play to kind of predict where it's going to go. So Iran is very popular. It's obviously not a new stock. Everyone who's alive in the stock market knows about it. It's one of the big players, I think, and we're keeping an eye on that. It could be a really good one to buy into strength, because when you look at the Palantir chart, which we'll pull up real quick, the Palantiring effect, you can see how Palantir on a 1 year chart. I'll go back a little bit. It did the same thing. It chopped sideways a bit in the 20s, and then it soared up into like this range, 50s, and it hit this kind of like point here in the 60s and 70s. I remember watching this in real time, and it was the same conversation. Will it pull back? And it did pull back. It tested this 200-day moving average. It tested it, and then it rocketed back up to extreme highs of 120. Then it pulled back real hard, like the 70. So this was a big test here. And then it wicked down again, of course, in the April tariffs. And then it chopped right back up again. And it's just kept that momentum going and going and going into all-time strengths. It only tested the 100-day moving average really once here in tariff craziness. I'm not going to go back and look at the $20 range, because that was a good place to buy for sure. But I'm looking at the overall pattern of its growth and where it went to. And you can see Iran most likely, in my mind, will do the same thing. Potentially, it's going to chop down, test this range, may wick down to the 100-day if we get some crazy catalyst by the administration, by Trump, or it will just soar higher. Other ones we're keeping a close eye on. Oscar, we like it. It's performing well. Health sector exposure. I believe there's still more upside to come, especially with the ACA subsidies and the government shutdown hopefully coming to an end, and we'll see people get back on their feet. The list goes on and on. There's so much opportunity in this market. Tesla, a good earnings report. Very bullish on Elon and Tesla and where they're heading. Definitely like just hovering in this 400. I mean, the channel, I would say we can put the channel here really, 460 range all the way down to maybe the 297. This is where we're channeling, just in between. But it definitely is holding good support in this higher band, this 400 and above range, 390 and above. So don't be surprised if it tests down, tests up, just keeps doing this as bulls and bears fight over the price point. I'm exposed to Apple. I do love Apple. I think it's a great company going nowhere. I think at any point they could surprise the market with huge innovation. That's why I'm exposed to them. I bought in early. I'm holding my shares. I sell covered calls, collect the premium, which is great. And this was a nice move higher to sell my covered calls. It could again explode higher if they were to announce at any point they could announce a huge breakthrough technology that they're ready to commit to, whether it's smart wearable glasses or I mean you name it. They have the R&D and the resources to do what they want, which is pretty exciting. And then we'll look at the fear and greed again, because this is why it doesn't make sense to me with the fear and greed metric being in fear at 2028, because we're sitting at 17. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. We're shopping in this range. So I don't think things are as fearful as that metric is making out. Now, TLT is pushing up. The bond market is seeing strength, which typically that's a sign of people moving to safe positions. So that might be an indicator as to why fear and greed is high. Keep an eye on that. Gold hit all-time highs, of course, back in October 20th, and now it has had a huge decrease. Its fastest ever day loss in history, I think it was, or one of the worst days of a drop for gold. But again, you mirror that with like, well, it had a record high soar in record time as well. So things do tend to mirror patterns. So I'm not surprised to see that. It'll probably chop sideways. We'll see where it goes. It may fly to Bitcoin. Of course, we do love Bitcoin. We're exposed to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently at $111. I'll go back to the 1 month chart. I'm bullish in Bitcoin. I don't see a reality in where it really drops significantly lower. If it does, I think it's going to get gobbled up by a lot of players, a lot of people, retail included. Could be a huge buyer if it drops lower. Institutions and companies. It's just the list goes on and on. Okay, it's definitely the same historical movements is the best way to put it, but with new players, which changes the games. It's the same game, new players. So keep an eye on that. There's different people at play here than there was 4 years or 8 years ago. So if it has a big wick down, I would expect it to not stay low too quickly. A lot of folks will gobble up what they can to hold it as an asset. I certainly will, and I've been accumulating a little bit here and there as I can in this range here. I sort of like decided myself rather silly that this was a range that I like to buy in. This like 114 down to like anything in this range I saw as a good opportunity to buy. That's my personal take there. So yeah, that's really it. We're looking at a good strong market. Pre-market's looking good. Yeah, Trump's doing some crazy stuff. Let's look at. We'll finish on that. You just never know what you're going to get with this Trump administration. As everyone's asleep, he goes ahead and tweets this. The Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada has fraudulently used an advertisement which is fake with a voiceover, $75,000 or more, I've heard as well. So he's claiming it's manipulation on America's court system, and therefore all trade negotiations with Canada are terminated. So this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a very bipolar market and administration. Any tweet can hit hard and affect the market. That's what makes it fun though as well. So it makes it interesting, which makes being an investor, a long-term investor, an exciting place to be. So we're bullish. We see upside, we see momentum, and you've got companies like Palantir, Rocket Lab, SOFI. The list goes on and on of just good opportunities. BM&R, Tom Lee. I could talk for days. Got to keep this short though because the kids are waking up. It's almost 5:15 in the morning for me. So yeah, keep an eye on this. We're looking good. Stay locked in. Know what you own and why you own it, and follow your convictions, folks. Cheers. See ya.